Not everything that you read or see online or even in a book or just a news article is true. So in this lesson, we'll try to evaluate and assess the sources of information for two things. Number one, validity, pagiging totoo. Second is credibility, pagiging kapani-paniwala. And to ensure you can trust the resources or sources of information that you will use to be accurate and reliable, in this lesson, we'll try to evaluate sources of information. So first, if we use internet, or let's say search engine with keywords that we have mentioned in the previous lessons, even though that we use Boolean operators, so we've used to try command principles that will filter the results that we will try to come out, kahit pag-aano natin siya i-filter, sometimes the information can be too overwhelming. Sa sobrang daming available sources, we will tend to have information overload. Now, for that matter, it's very important for us to evaluate the sources of information on what are some of the things na isasama natin and i-consider natin for the research and ano yung mga paniniwalaan natin. So, in evaluating information sources, we will be using the CRAP test. CRAP actually stands for currency, relevance, authority, accuracy, and purpose. Let's begin first with the first one, which is currency. Currency refers to the timeliness of the information. We ask the questions, when was the information published? Not just published, posted. Sometimes we tend to be fooled by repost or reshared information from secondary sources that they claim na sila ang may-ari ng source ng information na yun. And we see that the information is from the date of the post is not actually the real date of the generation of that post or article or photo or video. Now, kung titingnan natin ng malalim, we can use certain tools that will check for metadata. Metadata is actually information about a certain information. Makikita natin dito that will reveal the exact date, really, on when does the photo was taken, the location, and even some of the specifications of that photo. Now, second question that we can ask is, has the information been revised or updated? Now, of course, books is difficult to revise. It will take a lot of years for a revision or a revised edition to come out. But web pages, even Facebook status, a tweet, for that matter, can be easily deleted and even revised. So we have to be very careful in checking, are the information content on that page or revised? Nagbago ba siya? O baka naman pinalitan o binura? Next question that we ask in terms of currency, is the information out of date or current? Now, we sometimes refer to this as a main category, but exactly, when we try to look for resources in terms of medical, let's say medical advancements, may mga announcement on medical bulletin, of course, the later, the better. Kapag mas later siya, mas okay siya. Let's say, magsa-search tayo ng advancements ng for instance, cancer, HIV, awareness. So, of course, kapag mas latest yung date na titignan natin, mas accurate, mas kapani-paniwala, mas credible yung information na yon. Whereas, kapag ang search naman natin is about social sciences and humanities, mas malawak yung date range na pwede natin tignan. Hindi naman ibig sabihin na kapag mag-aaral tayo ng, of course, humanities, literature, or philosophy, yung mas bago, yung mas tama. Not all the time. May mga exceptions siya. Depende doon sa pinaka-search na titignan mo. Next category in the CRAP test is letter R, which stands for relevance. Relevance is defined as the importance of the information for your needs. How is the information associated with your information need? Is it really appropriate? Is it identified to really fit to the demands of your stated information need? Akma ba siya? Tamang-tama ba siya? Hindi lang doon sa pangangailangan mong impormasyon. Akma ba siya sa magbabasa? Akma ba siya sa users? Akma ba siya sa mga gagamit? Now, another question we ask is the information appropriate in terms of being basic or being advanced? Of course, if you have prerequisite knowledge and a certain skills that you would like to learn, of course, hindi mo na kailangan ng basic, doon ka na sa advanced. On the other hand, kapag masyado namang advanced at technical, yung terms, yung language na ginamit ng material na yun, it's not appropriate for users who does not actually have the prerequisite knowledge needed to understand that research or online article. And then last is, have you looked at variety of sources before determining that this is one that you will use? So in terms of relevance, you will try to filter a lot of sources and look at the most fitting information source that you will use. Now, sometimes, para hindi masyadong maubos yung oras natin na mag-spend ng pagbabasa ng isang mahabang article, we have available tertiary sources such as abstracts and summary. Halimbawa, pag mag-download ka ng mga reference journals, it's very important for you to look at the abstracts, which actually serve as a summary, an overview of the entire article. Kung wala naman, halimbawa sa libro, you can look for, of course, the table of contents, the subtopics of that book. Makikita natin doon kung ano ba talaga yung laman niya. Sometimes, kung hindi naman libro or journal article, you can look for, if it's from a database or search engine, the keywords used in searching is also associated with relevance. Makikita ba natin doon yung hinahanap natin? Sometimes when we use search engines such as Google, the Google will reveal to us in the platform na, let's say, we give the example, we tried to look for two terms, let's say cats and dogs. So this article, again, ulitin ko, dinagdagan natin siya ng cats and dogs. So ang nakalagay doon, minsan, cats found, no dog. Minsan yung Google, nagpo-provide siya ng ganong specific provision na magsasabi na wala doon yung hinahanap mo na isang term. Next, from the CAP test is, of course, authority. It refers to the source of information or the creators of information. Are they really authoritative in terms of the author, the publisher, the sponsor, or the organization behind that content? So, is the author's credential really credible na magsabi ng ganun information? Magbigay tayo ng isang example. Let's say, for instance, you have seen product review of a certain cosmetic brand na lumabas. Now, is that content creator really credible in giving judgments towards that product? Titignan natin yung credentials niya. Kilala ba talaga siya na nagbibigay ng objective na review? Or baka naman it's just a paid advertisement kaya or galit siya or against that brand? Next is, can the author's qualification be verified? So sometimes, if you are looking for research academic journals, on top of the name of the authors, nakalagay na doon yung kanilang mga contact information and email. Or sometimes, pag mga bloggers or websites, we always look into the about page of the website or about the author. It's a very good part of the website that we can look into for us to really validate the authority of the creator of that content. And lastly, it is very important that the URL, the Uniform Resource Locator, can tell a lot of stories behind the validity and credibility of that information content. So for those who do not know, URL, so as you can see, is referring to the Uniform Resource Locator, is divided into 4 parts. So we have the HTTP : which is the protocol, and we have the www dot, which is the subdomain, and then the domain name. So for my example, I use Google, and then ang pinaka-importante titignan natin dito for authority is the top level domain, yung dulo niya. So for this example, ang gagamitin natin is .com. So, maraming mga klase ng website na nagre-reveal, titingnan lang natin yung top-level domain, makikita na natin at first glance, without really going thoroughly to that type of website, if it's authoritative or not. So, I'll give you an example. Halimbawa, maghahanap tayo ng mga references about Supreme Court decided cases, about health bulletin. So, importante na dapat galing ito sa government. Kaya ang dapat nating tignan na top-level domain ng ating mga websites na pupuntahan ay .gov. So, example na ibibigay ko sa inyo is the doh.gov.ph. So, if you ask me, bakit may PH nakadugtong? Actually, it's not really part of the top-level domain. It's just an indicator of the location or the country of the source of that information. So, the .ph stands for Philippines. Another example is advocacy resources. So we can use .org. Normally nakikita natin .org. Again, uulitin ko, Wikipedia is an encyclopedia but a collaborative or wiki encyclopedia. If you look into deeper, the Wikipedia rather, is using a top-level domain that is .org, meaning it's advocacy, it's collaborative. So, it's really, we need to really take an effort to look for the credibility of the authority of that platform, kung talagang tama ba yung article na binanggit doon sa Wikipedia, because it's primarily editable, because it's collaborative by nature. Another, the most popular websites or top-level domain websites na ginagamit is the .com. .com stands for commercial or business purposes, but not all are really geared towards business, because it's the easiest website na bilihin, the .com. Just like our platform, we are using the .com top-level domain. So, popular examples of which, of course, is business venture websites such as lazada.com.ph. Now, yung kaninang binabanggit ko na hindi lahat ng information sources from .com ay masama. Meron din naman talagang dahil yun lang yung readily available. We just have to have a critical eye in looking at those websites. Example of which are news websites. So I have here my example, which is www.cnnphilippines.com. So it's a news website which is authoritative, but they are using the top-level domain.com. Now, lastly is, of course, we have to understand if that source is just plainly using social media sites such as Twitter, blogging, Facebook. So, mapapansin natin na these are really not created by content creators that are authoritative, but are just merely using social media as their platform to communicate to their audience. Next, number 4 is accuracy. Accuracy refers to the reliability, truthfulness, and correctness of the content. So, tama ba? Tamang-tama ba yung nilalabas niyang content? So, these are the guide questions that we can consider. First, where does the information come from? Saan siya galing? Galing ba siya sa credible sources? Is it supported by facts, for that matter? Is it supported by evidence? Now, has the information been reviewed or referred? Let's say, for instance, meron bang editorial board na tumingin dun sa article na na-publish, or just after the author just released an article, na nilabas niya na? Of course, mas maganda kapag it's peer-reviewed, kasi maraming mata na ang tumingin, maraming experts and scholars na ang nag-scrutinize ng article na yon. Next, can you verify of the information source from personal knowledge or from other sources? Kung titingnan natin, kapag kami nakita tayong isang balita or information na nag-veer towards away from the other sources of information, iba yung sinasabi niya. Pero majority ang sinasabi ay ganito. Of course, saan tayo maniniwala? Bakit tayo maniniwala dun sa isa, na isa lang siya? Of course, we have to consider, of course, a lot of things, such as the authority, the author, the creator, and of course, a lot of things. But sometimes, most often than not, kapag isa lang yung nagsasabi, siya lang naman yung nagsabi, at yung iba naman, iba yung sinasabi, and credible sources naman sila, doon tayo maniniwala sa mas madami na mas credible. Next is, does the language or tone seem to be biased? So sometimes it is, they're sneaky eh. Magaling silang magsulat sa ganyan. Magaling silang mag-produce ng mga articles or even post or photos or videos na hindi natin mapapansin yung intent nila. So let's say for instance, yung mga branded entertainment na parang hindi natin mapapansin na pinatong lang yung certain product pero may brand placement pala, yun pala may iba silang purpose or intention. So hindi natin nakikita yun kasi hindi naman natin napansin na hindi naman nila binanggit, subtle lang, hindi masyadong halata. Next, is the content free from typographical errors, spelling, even grammar? As per experience, a lot of journal articles are published in India. But if we try to look at it, maraming mga typographical errors. Bakit? Siguro they are after the quantity rather than the quality of the journal articles. So titignan natin yon na bakit mas gusto nilang mas marami silang ma-publish more than the quality of the published article. So titignan natin baka naman may mga maling spelling, grammar. Ibig sabihin, it's not really that accurate, and of course, the credibility and validity of that source of information is not that at par with other sources of information. The last criterion for the CRAP test is of course P, which stands for purpose. The purpose is the reason. Bakit ba nag-i-exist yung content na yon, yung online or print or that information source? So is it to inform? Is it to teach something? Is it to persuade? Is it intentional to sell? Is it intentional to entertain? So yun yung titingnan natin. Kasi baka more often than not, yung purpose, nadi-defeat niya yung purpose ng content kasi nag-underlie siya. Let's say for instance, ang gusto mo lang naman talagang malaman is a news content. Gusto mo lang maging informed tungkol sa balita. Pero when you open a certain website, maraming pop-up blocks na puro advertisements, na puro mga andaming commercials, which is of course defeating the purpose na ano ba talagang purpose nitong website na to? Akala ko ba to inform, pero bakit parang puro commercial? And then another question of course is, do the authors or sponsors' intentions or purpose are clear? Sometimes, marami tayong naririnig sa mga social media influencers, not sponsored. But of course, if you have a critical eye in looking at the content, mapapansin mo na it's still sponsored. Mararamdaman naman natin yun na medyo bias yung attitude nila towards a certain brand. Next, are they trying to persuade or change your political, ideological, religious for that matter, or institutional biases? So titingnan natin na kung tinatry ka niya bang i-convert, yun ba yung purpose niya, rather than just to merely inform or teach. And then last is, does the format give the purpose audience quality? And even the quality. Just like the sample that I gave you a while ago, ang mga websites, minsan, ang purpose nila is to inform, but the format or the design, the layout, is just looking like a promotion. It's like advertising. Nadidefeat niya yung purpose. It's also one way na dapat maiwasan natin. Now, to evaluate everything, it's easy. Halimbawa, hindi naman available yung information sa author. Hindi available yung publication date. Hindi available yung main source of information. Again, nandyan ang Google. As I say, we can use search engines to verify the authenticity of that information, whether it's published in other sources or whether it's the original material. Meron din tayong Google image search na pwede natin gamitin na makikita natin doon na that the photo is really authentic and come from that creator, na siya talaga yung gumawa ng photo na yon. So in summary, kung titignan natin, when evaluating source, it's very important to look at the origin. Saan ba nanggaling yung material na yon? Because it will say a lot on where the information content is coming from. Now, remember that websites such as blogs, wikis are, I'm not saying not credible, but you have to have a critical eye to cross-check and balance the authenticity and credibility of that information. Next is, of course, para mas maging malawak ang pag-evaluate natin, we use the CRAP test, which is currency, relevance, authority, accuracy, and purpose. So this will ensure that the information that we will use is relevant, authentic, and real, and we can use credible sources. And of course, if you will be using credible sources in your citations, sa pagsasalita mo, sa research mo, and even in your arguments, it will quality assure that the information coming from you will also be accurate and reliable.